Shalom, Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all honor, glory, and praises unto YAHAWAH, BaHashem, YAHAWASHI, BaHashem, RICANS, YAHAWAH being the name of the Heavenly Father, whom the world ignorantly calls God, YAHAWASHI being the name of His Son, whom the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Shalom to my AHPARYAM, YAHAWAH, who are diligently waiting to be delivered from this final captivity. This is Brother Kawakub coming at you with another lesson. Isaiah 10 verse 1, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees and that write grievousness which they have prescribed. Today's lesson, we're going to be watching this video, kind of a long video, a bit of a long video, but very important information nonetheless. My main kind of just to put this information out there primarily, initially, and then also I'll bring out some scriptures. But very good video. I'm surprised that this is my first time watching it. Anyway, so let's let it play.
Congress is rushing to pass a law that's going to outlaw anti-Semitic speech, which includes talking about Israel. This is pretty wild. Check this out. It's called HR 6090. It just passed the House. It's basically expanding on and re-clarifying the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to outlaw anything that meets the definition of anti-Semitism as laid out by the IHRA, this definition they adopted in 2016. And they specify that this includes the contemporary examples of anti-Semitism that we're about to look at. This bill is specific to any government institutions or any institutions that get government money, like universities. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm reading this as you can get kicked out of university now if you do any of these things.
Okay, so I'm gonna let the video finish playing in a bit, but my main goal is, or the main takeaway is that they are preventing you from being able to say a lot of stuff, all right, or believing in some stuff. There have been lots of different laws that they have attempted to push out and implement that basically consistently prevents people from from saying a lot, okay, or saying anything about a certain group of people. And one thing that I just thought was pretty funny, okay, which is it's like it really just doesn't make any sense to me in any way, shape, or form. Because I honestly like this. Let me just say, Proverbs 17 verse 15: He that justifieth the wicked and he that condemneth the just, even they both are abomination to the Lord. Now, one of the laws, because this is where the justification comes from. One of the laws that they have in place is that if you talk bad or accuse a certain group of people of something that is factually correct, which again you're gonna see in the video, because I'm gonna put it in at the end of this lesson. All right, I'm gonna put the rest of the video at the end of the lesson, Slakia. But basically, what happens is that they basically say, accuse them of owning everything, you accuse them of doing everything, okay, even though this dude literally goes in and shows proof of who owns everything. Fucking Disney, a whole bunch of different platforms. I think it was Facebook, not Twitter, just basically a bunch of different stuff. All right, and if you state a fact, just like the prophets stating facts, okay, just as when we state facts and we say something that's objectively correct, we are demonized for it. But if you state, now they're making it even more apparent that if you state a fact, okay, a literal fact, then you are perpetuating hate speech and whatnot. So, as a result of that, they are more and more creating these unrighteous decrees, unlawful laws, unrighteous laws to justify the lies and the wickedness that they push out, as well as finding a reason to condemn the just people that are, speaking truth, speaking the facts, primarily us, the prophets, that are trying to wake up our people, as well as just people in general that are against the lies. All right. So with this also, we also have Romans chapter 1 verse 25, which, hey, you know what the topic is. I'm not going to say anything more, but let's go into what does the thing say. Romans chapter 1 verse 25, who changed the truth of Yahawah into a lie and worship and serve the creature more than the creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. And since when has the Lord ever been for lies? All right, the Lord is not for lying. He's about the truth. All right. On top of that, all right, people they get butt hurt when you speak the truth to them. They get butt hurt, they get angry, they get emotional, all the problems. They have a whole bunch of problems with any time we speak, the truth. We try to warn our people of what's actually going on. All right, we try to inform them and let them know, okay, yeah, this, then, the third, we should be abstaining from certain lifestyles. All right, but as a result, but obviously, Esau has had a bigger hold on the minds of the people in leading them away into strange doctrine. Actually, let me see if I can find that. Actually, let me just go here. Hebrews chapter 13 verse 9, be not carried away, Slakia, Hebrews chapter 13 verse 9, be not carried about with diverse and strange doctrines, for it is a good thing that the heart be established with grace, not with meats, which have not profited them that have been occupied therein. All right, and we also get Hebrews chapter 12 verse 16, lest there be any fornicator or profane person as Esau, who for one morsel of meat sold his birthright. So, the word profane basically means secular, or the opposite of religious, or, spiritual, and that's what Esau is. Esau has been, planting that seed and making it grow to make not just his people, but other people all as well become less and less spiritual and wanting, to just be base, and base in the sense of just doing whatever, basically doing literally, I see something, and even though I have already pre-established that this is the wrong thing to do. This is not something that is a natural thing to do. They go about and do something that's unnatural. All right. That's what Esau has been trying to do, and as a result of that, it also has led to people, this is kind of a bit of a side tangent thing, but basically that also ties into, which I have spoken on this before, the whole technology thing, where people are becoming dumber. They don't really necessarily, because of the over reliance on technology. There's less and less spirituality and more of a relying on, I need to see things in order to believe it, as well as I need something tangible. All right. In addition to that, well, not necessarily tangible, but in the sense of visual. That needs something that I can visually see. Okay, and you also have the convenience in people in technology doing a lot of stuff for you, which wasn't readily available to you 20 years ago. Like, for example, if you want food delivered to you at your door 20 years ago, the only time you would be able to do that is if you ordered a pizza. Pizza spots literally have built-in delivery options. Okay, whereas comparatively, if you need to go grocery shopping or anything like that, you have to go out there. You have to go and walk, drive, or whatever, take the bus to get to the grocery store in order to buy the stuff yourself. You pick out what you want. You can't just go on an app and say, okay, I want this, that, and third, and someone's just going to deliver it. Which, once again, that's another thing that contributes to people becoming lazy. All right. And yes, this is also the way that this connects is because, one thing about being spiritual is if people that are truly spiritual, I think one of the best examples outside of, us Israelites that, attempt to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments. But one thing that's just readily understood from the best good quote unquote good examples is Islam, where they have the dietary laws and other laws and stuff like that, where they literally practice this on a daily, like it is a mandatory thing in their faith. So if they are their faith, then they will be doing it. So some of the things that they do is praying 5 times a day. So wherever they are at, they have to go, oh, okay, yeah, I have to go to the mosque, whatever, and pray. And there's a timing and all that stuff, 5 times a day. There's also, the dietary laws of, pork may be good, but I'm not going to eat it because the Lord told me not to eat it. So that's another aspect of self-control. So this is absent in a lot of people's in secular people's lives, where they don't really practice that. And it's primarily seen in Babylon, where you have a bunch of people that are really, in all honesty, just flat out lazy. All right. Not only lazy, Babylon has the highest obesity problem by other countries. All right. So yes, this is a very big thing when we see it. It is most prevalent among the people where Esau is residing. All right. So with that in mind, I'm going to let this video play. This is slocky about that tangent, but I just had to, kind of show a bit more, show a bit more on how not just the fact that they are restricting people, but this restriction is actually, it ties into the whole making people just fall in line in believing whatever they want the people to believe, because in the same way, people thought the C9V was a good thing to do, but they didn't necessarily think that it was a good thing to do. They just followed it because that's what the government said. In addition to that, people will perceive this bill as a good thing, not necessarily understanding the nitty-gritty details on, is this actually a good thing? Is this fair? Is this right? Is it accurate? Okay, but they don't want people fact checking. All right, so I'm gonna let this play. So with that, I pray this is glory and praises unto Yahawah, BaHaShem, YAHAWASHI, BaHaShem, Kakwadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, Abad Babal, and Shalom.
Did you hear that Congress is rushing to pass a law that's going to outlaw anti-Semitic speech, which includes talking about Israel? This is pretty wild. Check this out. It's called HR 6090. It just passed the House. It's basically expanding on and re-clarifying the Civil Rights Act of 1964 to outlaw anything that meets the definition of anti-Semitism as laid out by the IHRA, this definition they adopted in 2016. And they specify that this includes the contemporary examples of anti-Semitism that we're about to look at. This bill is specific to any government institutions or any institutions that get government money, like universities. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm reading this as you can get kicked out of university now if you do any of these things. It's from the IHRA website. This is the one that was adopted in 2016. That was originally written as a non-legally binding working definition that is about to be legally binding. Here's some of those examples that they were talking about in the bill. Making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews. Right on. Let's not dehumanize. What do they mean by that? Such as, especially but not exclusively, the myth about a world Jewish conspiracy, or of Jews controlling the media, economy, government, or other societal institutions. We'll come back to that. Accusing Jewish citizens of being more loyal to Israel or to the alleged priorities of Jews worldwide than to the interest of their own nation. We're looking at you, Anthony Blinken. Denying the Jewish people their right to self-determination, e.g. by claiming that the state of Israel is illegitimate? Yeah, that's illegal now. I wonder why they'd have to make that illegal. Applying double standards by requiring... You mean double standards like not requiring them to, listen to the International Court of Justice? Double standards like them not having to listen to the UN? Double standards like bombing civilians isn't a war crime? I mean, we would never want to apply double standards to Israel, obviously. I'm not going to read that one. Holding Jews collectively responsible for the actions of the... I mean, fair game. Lots of Jews are anti-Israel for great reason. But I couldn't help but notice that in the bill, there's the section at the bottom that says constitutional protection. Nothing in this act shall be construed to infringe upon any right protected under the First Amendment of the Constitution of the United States. Boom! Game on, baby! So I figured I'd exercise a bit of that free speech in the First Amendment of the United States of America Constitution, of which I am a citizen, and point out that these are the only 7 senators in the U.S. Senate that have not taken AIPAC money. 93 out of 100 senators in our government are taking money from the Israel lobby. You know, the one that brags about how they bribe all our politicians to keep Congress pro-Israel. Because, when something's the right thing to do, you have to pay people to believe it. Otherwise, why would they believe it? And you have to ensure that any of those bad people that don't believe it don't get elected, because they're bad. The single most influential big money group in Democratic electoral politics. Because, Democratic electoral politics is all about big money. And using that big money to defeat all the bad people that don't love Israel. Like, take this one, for example, where they elected Shontel Brown. In the 2022 election cycle, Shontel Brown of Israeli money, over $1 million. Just some random woman from Ohio. And that's because the ADL has this nice list of the most radical anti-Israel candidates in the 2022 primary. And Chantel's opponent, Nina Turner, is on that list. She's a very bad person. But I just couldn't help going back to these myths about Jewish people. And I generally actually try to keep my criticisms to Zionists and Israel. But when someone tries to make speech illegal, you know what I'm going to do? Is I'm going to do that speech. Because you can go fuck yourselves. That's why. And I would use that speech to point out that Google was founded by 3 Jewish people. The New York Times was founded and owned by a Jewish family, the Sulzbergers. Instagram and Facebook are obviously both run by Jewish people. David Zaslav is the president and CEO of Warner Bros. Discovery, who is also CNN. He's Jewish. Bob Iger, CEO of Disney. He's Jewish. Just a quick reminder how much talking FX, Marvel, ABC, ESPN, National Geographic, Pixar. They even own Star Wars. Brian Roberts, CEO of Comcast. Remember, Comcast owns NBC, MSNBC, all those. He literally goes to Israel every year to compete in the Jewish Olympics, the Maccabiah Games. Brian Levine is the CEO of Paramount Pictures and Nickelodeon. He's Jewish. The Newhouse family owns Advanced Publications. They're Jewish. In case you wanted to know who Advanced Publications runs, it's all these magazines. I mean, we can keep going, but honestly, the only 2 that really stand out are X, is owned by Elon Musk. We all know what they tried to do to him. And then we have TikTok. I already made a whole reel, or 10, about how TikTok is actually getting banned for other reasons than China, and how, what's his name? Steve Mnuchin, who is Jewish, is going to try to buy TikTok buddies. Never mind, I'll just let you go watch that one for yourself. I mean, we can keep going, but so far we've hit all of these companies. So, remind me again about the myth of Jews controlling the media? Or does this bill outlaw reading too? Because I've just been reading a little bit. And obviously there's nothing wrong with Jewish people owning companies. And there's nothing wrong with Jewish people being the CEO of basically every media company in America. As long as they're not more loyal to Israel or to the alleged priorities of Jews than they are to the interests of their own nation. Which you obviously need look no further than Ben Shapiro and the Israeli Wire to realize that would never happen. Except all that's illegal now, so that's how you know it's not true. Be careful not to go reading the wrong facts out there, because Semitic. And don't think too much about how the Balfour Declaration was given to Lord Rothschild and was directly a trade of this land for you helping get America into this war. Or do I have my history wrong? Is it anti-Semitic to claim that the Rothschilds were the driving force behind making Israel a state? I'm a little confused on what's anti-Semitic these days. And in case humor and sarcasm goes over your head, obviously not all Jewish people are bad. And obviously not all Jewish people support Israel. Everyone is an individual. I'm just wondering if you're also going to be kicking people out of college for talking about Native Americans or Mexicans. Like, is it illegal to question the narrative around black slavery? Or, I mean, it's not illegal for me to criticize my own, but it's illegal for me to criticize another government? And it's good foreign policy to let another nation bribe our politicians, but it's illegal to question the bribing of our politicians? Maybe you guys can help me out in the comments so I don't get in trouble with the big boys. But then again, I never even passed high school, so I'm not sure this law applies to dumb folks like me. Did you hear that